Olympia Hostler. I am a real estate broker and investor. I do residential and commercial real estate. I've been doing it for over 24 years. And one of my favorite stories is when I was a broker in New York City, also New York State, and I had a joint venture partnership with CBS Television.
Oh, wow.
And we built an entire real estate market in New York City. And we also did the first real estate television show for the
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is a fun story.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for being so humble and coming on to join me for a fun podcast. So, tell me what inspired you to start your business, and what was the aha moment that you had to make you go all in with real estate?
Well, I had a major car accident in 2000, and I could not go back to the type of work that I did before. And I said, I just kind of did some soul searching. I'm like, what would I like to do? I like to be in service to people.
Mm-hmm.
I like to really help them reach their goals and their dreams. And I thought real estate would be fun. So I started in residential real estate, and I did a year in residential real estate, and then I did a year in commercial real estate to get
Mm.
started. And then I had my own brokerage after that. So
Wow.
yeah.
So that was your all in. You just decided,
Yeah.
like, if I'm going to do this, there's no in between. I see
Yeah.
you as being that kind of person, like a
Yeah,
all or nothing kind of girl. I love that.
exactly.
And what has been the biggest challenge being a business owner, and how have you overcome that?
The biggest challenge is cash flow.
Can you talk about that? Like, yeah, like it's funny. My grandson always says, for real," that's our saying around here. For
Yeah.
real, for real. Can you
For
give us
real?
like the for real? Because I don't think we talk.
Right.
I know we don't talk about this.
Yeah. Well, it is cash flow, and that is the lifeblood of any business. But in
Sure.
real estate, it's also that.
Uh-huh.
So how I overcome that is to really have systems in place for uh, the whole life cycle of a client, from the
Mm-hmm.
moment I get them as a prospect to
Mm-hmm.
converting them into a client, and then nurturing them afterwards, and really building that relationship before and after they
Mm-hmm.
actually use my services.
So what are the, I mean, I know you weren't prepared for this question, but I think, you can answer things on the fly. What are some of the things that you do to really stay in contact and to be there from the beginning, in service, during your transaction and the process, and then after? What are the things that you do to keep that relationship going?
Well, I have of course, email nurturing sequences, but more than that, they actually get the personal touch of me.
Uh-huh.
I do some texting, but my personal favorite way to be in contact is either by phone or stopping by and just seeing how they're doing, asking them, if there's anything that's happening in their life that I can help them with, in addition to just being a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a hub of resources for people, no matter what they need, whether it's, something real estate related, like,
Sure.
a contractor, or somebody like a party planner. I belong to a networking group, and we have all different types of businesses available. So those are all people who I've vetted and am very proud to be able to recommend to folks.
I love that. Yeah. No, I think we live in a very transactional world, and I am a relationship person. I love building relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what I've enjoyed doing with every piece of my many careers that I've had in my adult life. I love building relationships. Like,
Yeah.
I just consider
Me too.
myself to be a connector. That's really what we are.
Yeah.
Like, I keep saying, like, I'm in love with Hillsong, like the 90s Christian band Hillsong. I love them. And one of
Yeah.
their songs is, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the verse is like, use me as a vessel. And I'm always going back to that, like, just use me as a vessel.
Right.
That's what I want
Right.
to be here for, is to
Right.
really make true connections. That's what we're doing. We're connecting buyers and sellers, and we're connecting creative financing with people that need it. And it's just a matter of making those connections, which means we
Exactly.
have to have a lot of relationships going all the time to be able to
Absolutely.
make proper connections.
Right. And also sometimes I've been known to do some pop by gifts for
Uh-huh.
people, for no reason at all, just because I love them and I want to nurture our relationship, or, do something nice, like, okay, don't everybody cannot ask me to babysit, but sometimes I do babysit because I love kids and I don't have any of my own. or pet sit. I'm very good at that as well.
I've done both those for clients. My favorite activity, and I haven't done this in a few years, is Valentine's Day, depending on the weather. I drop
Yeah.
chocolates off in their mailbox because,
Yes.
you know, and then I text them all like, hey, I know this is illegal to leave things in the mailbox, but I'm just like, you know, just reminding you I love you and your family and I appreciate you
Yeah.
using me. There's chocolates in there. That was
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do for the years that it worked with the weather for Valentine's
Yes.
Day. But yeah, I love popping by to see people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, if you could give one piece of advice to somebody just starting out, what would it be?
Get a coach.
That is a good one.
Get an experienced coach, a good coach, because there are so many coaches out there, and most of them are not worth their weight in salt, let alone anything else. And a lot of coaches only have one, like they're one trick ponies. They've done one thing well, and that's what they're teaching to everybody. Get a coach who is more broad and can help you more and does more things. I've been using Brian Buffini. In the past, I've used him. I'm still connected into the network. And I know you have a coach too, don't you, Jess?
Yeah, I've got a Tom Ferry coach and I love her. Her name's Amy Lassen. I love Coach Amy. I notice when I'm on social media, there's a lot of coaches, and it's always my opinion that like there's a girl on there named Krista something with bad extensions that's always touting like her coaching skills. And my immediate thought is, if you are so great at this, why are you not doing that skill? Why is it that you instead are a coach coaching people, telling them what to do? If you are truly this great at this, whatever it is you're touting, you should be doing that full time instead of promoting this coaching. So yeah, I've always been a full-time realtor. I really enjoy helping and mentoring new agents. It's not for the money, I'll tell you that. My money has always been made on my personal production, but I really enjoy helping motivated young women, especially. I've had men on my team before, but like motivated young women that just like, I see the hustle. That's my favorite thing because I love helping people. So I would do it. I mean, it's the same thing if, you know, some girl comes up to me at the gym, like I love recruiting new gym partners and because I'm here doing it. I'm here every morning. That's what I do. So I think it's really interesting that you bring that up because if you're going to hire a coach, you want a coach who is productive, doing more business than you are. Otherwise, that's not going to be worthy. And so there's a company out there I'm not going to name, but I get a lot of calls from people at this company with like, oh, there's this amazing opportunity. I'm like, no, there's not. I mean, I do double the business you do. So what opportunity are we talking about? If you're not doing more business than I'm doing, how would you be able to help me level up to do something more? That just doesn't make common sense to me.
A coach cannot take you anywhere they haven't been.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Story.
No, I feel like this is like hiring a trainer that's not in shape at the gym. Like, why would you do that? You know, like if I'm going to hire a trainer, it's been years since I've hired a trainer because I've been at the gym for a long time and I don't think there's somebody at the gym that knows more than what I know to get me to the place I want to go. So, but I'm around a few other girls that are doing all the same stuff, but I think that's a really good point that we tend to overlook.
Exactly. It is. So a coach is a very good thing to do, and the coach will help you with the plan. Because it's, you know, you can read a book about driving a car, but it's different when you take the wheel.
So I'll tell you for sure. When I started with Buffini, it was 2013 and I ran another company and I made close to 100 doing that other company. I had employees and then I jumped back into real estate and I hired a Buffini coach. I went through, I can't remember the program. Was it 100? No, that's a new program. Maybe it was that one. It was Peak Producers. It was Peak Producers.
Peak Producers.
Yeah. So I facilitate Peak Producers, or I have for many years, but it was Peak Producers and I did everything they told me to do. They said, you know, jump on the plan for marketing, get a coach. So I got a coach. The coach ran me $500 a month, $6,000 for the year. I did everything she said. So she said, what's your goal? And I said, I have to make $100,000. That's the goal. I'm making almost 100 over here. I need to make 100 in real estate. And she said, okay, what are your other expenses? Oh, you have a TC, you're paying for gas. to show properties, you need to make 125. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So we leveled out a plan. At that point in time, my commission was 7,500 per transaction. That was my average, right? And so she said, you need to do 25 transactions. That's going to amount to, this many phone calls, this much face to face, this many,
Right.
pop buys as we like to do, this many, emails, this many letters, this many handwritten notes. You're really encouraged to serve people at this genuine level with that
Yes,
program. If you,
exactly.
I see you at lunch and I'm like, oh, I remember, like, oh, I really like you. It was great seeing you. I send you a handwritten note. It was great seeing you. I love that we had this great strategy session on whatever. I'd love to do this again. So you do all these little things. And I tell you what, that year I did 26 transactions, and my 1099, my goal was 125. It was 126,500. And I came back to everybody in the group and I was like, this shit worked. And they were all saying, I did it. It didn't work for me. I'm like, you didn't do it. You did one of the things. There's so much follow up in this business that has to be done. I'd say even more so now because of social media and this world that we live in, that we're all on social media and everything is going out through email, and it's going out through technology rather than this personal human touch that a lot of people have lost touch with. And that's my favorite part. That's a relationship building.
Yeah, absolutely. We are in the relationship business, not the business of selling homes, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you're right.
Byproduct.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So tell us what you're seeing right now in this market. And you also do commercials. You do apartments as well. What are you seeing in commercial? What are you seeing in residential? And what do you forecast that we're walking into?
Let's see. I'm going to get the crystal ball out. Consulting the ball. So in commercial, it's still a very strong market. And it has not dipped, even like residential has over the past few years. I have a database of investors, and basically they have standing orders for what they want. They know what they want. They make decisions by the numbers. And so they say, Olympia, bring me this, and these parameters. Don't show me anything else. So especially multifamily is on fire. Retail and office are not on fire. I would not recommend investing in retail. Office, it has to be, if I'm going to recommend it, it has to be a place where either there's already a great strong tenant in place and has a long-term left on their lease. I wouldn't really advise buying an empty office building for the average investor. Now, if you're broke, hey, buy away, because they have billions and they can afford to shelter any losses. Another hot tip for commercial is,
tell us.
Once you buy a commercial property, or even if you bought it a while ago, you can do what's called cost segregation.
What is that?
You're segregating the cost of the building and the fixtures as opposed to the land. And you need an accountant to do it. I don't do it. You need an accountant to do it. And when they do that, you can front load your depreciation, so you don't on the building, not on the land. And so you get a big tax break up front. So,
but I would imagine you have a great referral for a accountant if one needed one. Somebody who knows specifically about commercial space and doing this cost segregation.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
You know what else is big in commercial is industrial. The horses are out of the barn. Because look at what's happening in our society and our economy. People are buying things online. And they need to be distributed. And Amazon is the leader of that, but there are so many other companies that need to warehouse in larger spaces. And a lot of times they need to have office attached to that. And when you have office attached with industrial, it's called flex space.
Interesting. So that's still moving. And you're doing all of these in California?
I am focusing on California at the moment. However, I do have investors at the moment who are also in Missouri, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Ohio. Still places where you can get really good cap rates. The barriers to entry are lower. you know, if you're looking for that, you were.
So if an investor is looking for something out of state, they can still contact you.
Absolutely. I have networks set up in really great pocket areas of the United States where I have determined are still good investment opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have teams there. So I have a team like an attorney, a CPA, a local real estate agent with boots on the ground over there,
Mm-hmm.
insurance agents, like whatever, contractors, uh, um, housekeeping services if they're doing
Uh-huh.
Airbnb. I love to do the Airbnb investment.
Oh, I am really, I love the idea of this.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love the idea of this. So do you also have like co-hosts set up if people want to purchase something that they're doing Airbnb with out of state?
I have not done that, but that's easy enough to do.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of buddies, the Property Joes, and they handle a lot here. They co-host 20 something properties here, but they have a
Okay.
couple that are out of city and a couple that are out of state that they're also
Mhm.
managing. Very
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, you need to have boots on the ground for sure. Okay, well, that's really good to know that you can handle all of those things. And
Yeah.
then what about residential? Where are you seeing residential right now?
Oh my God, residential. I just saw the new stats from the National Association of Realtors, and I'm so excited to bring this. These are hot off the press.
Okay.
This is the increase. We'll do Placer County first.
Okay.
Placer County listings have increased 20% in the last month.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Pendings have increased 31%, and solds have increased 30%. So,
Wow.
hey, spring has sprung.
Yeah.
We
No,
are
I'm
off to
definitely
the
feeling
races
it.
here.
Yeah, definitely feeling it. And how are
Yeah.
how are you seeing that change in your own business right now with buyers? Are you seeing a lot of buyers come out of the woodwork and decide they're
Yes.
going to buy even with the rates?
Right. Yes. And what I advise buyers to do is if you know you want to buy, if you're ready to buy, you have a good income or
Uh-huh.
whatever it is you need to qualify, um, go ahead and buy now. The interest rate is lower than it was. It's not
Mm-hmm.
as low as I think it's going to go. The Fed
Sure.
said that they're going to increase, or I'm sorry, decrease
Mm-hmm.
uh, the the lending rates this year 2 or 3 times. So okay, so you pay a little more now in your mortgage because you have
Mm-hmm.
a higher interest rate. But here's the rub, Jessica. If you wait until the interest rates come down,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? Housing
Prices go
prices
up.
have gone
Mm-hmm.
up. So
Yep.
you've lost your buying power.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. Are you doing a lot of the 2-1 buy downs with buyers?
I have not been doing a lot of those. No. Mm-mm.
That's been our like Ian and I. That's my favorite thing to do is
Yeah.
the 2-1 buy downs because I'm like we know rates are going to come down. So if I
Yeah.
can get the seller to cover the cost for a buy down up front and cover
Yeah.
the closing costs, which I love doing. It's like negotiating is my favorite thing to do outside of building
Mhm.
relationships. Negotiating is
Right.
my second favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then we can offset that payment, and we know rates are going to come down within 2 years. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Right.
But having that 2 years gives us that window of a lower rate, so you can refinance later on.
That's a brilliant idea. I have almost done some deals like that, but they didn't they just didn't come to fruition.
Dang it! No, I love the program. And what are you seeing right now in way of sellers? What changes are you seeing right now with our market heating up with sellers?
Sellers are getting more reasonable
Uh huh.
in general.
Uh
There's
huh.
always those ones that think that their house is the most valuable on the block when in
Yeah, but
fact,
they have maple cabinets, right? Yeah.
and pink carpet.
Uh
Who
huh.
doesn't like pink carpet, right? Everybody wants that. Okay. Yeah, my baby's not ugly. No, my
Right.
baby's
Right. Yeah.
the prettiest baby.
So
So
how do
I'm
you?
not seeing a lot of that, which is good.
Uh
I'm
huh.
seeing more reasonable sellers, and just to bring in the NAR settlement.
Uh huh. Yeah.
You know,
Could you want to
everybody's
talk about
talking
that?
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the NAR settlement has to do with who's paying commissions to the
Mm-hmm.
buyer's broker.
Right.
So in the case of listings, listing agents are taken care of
Mm-hmm.
in the listing agreement.
Right.
So I have a discussion with the seller telling them how it is to their advantage to offer some type of payment for the buyer's commission,
Mm-hmm.
buyer's broker commission. And most sellers are in agreement with that and they
Mm-hmm.
understand. However, what I have seen a lot of is if, let's say the asking price is 500,000
Uh-huh.
and somebody comes in with a low or a low ball offer and they expect their buyer's broker fee to be paid, you better think again, sister, because I have not seen that happen.
Uh-huh.
If it's just maybe up to like 10% off the price, and again, it depends on the seller and what they need
Sure,
to get
sure.
out of it.
Yeah.
But 10%, okay, we can still get a decent buyer broker commission. But after that, sellers are like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah. No, I've definitely noticed the change. I'll tell you my play. I'll tell you my playbook. Here's what I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go, I target houses that have been on the market 30 days plus. I
Yeah.
go in and like punch them in the face with a super low offer. So they're on the market for 500. I'm like 450. I ask for 3% commission. I ask for 6% back from my buyer. And then they call and they're like, "Are you insane?" And I was like, "Verified. I would like you to look up how much business I do." And then
Yeah.
they, and I'm like, "And don't get this twisted. You need us. You've been on the market over 30 days. The market has said your price is not appropriate. Not just me, not just my buyers. The market has spoken. You're off the mark. You need us to make this happen. So go back to your seller, find out what the best they can do is, and get back to me." And then we go back and forth. I end up taking 2% commission, and I end up getting my buyers at least 4% commission. But that's been every single buyer I've worked with for the past 2 years. So I'm like, I feel like if we come out and we ask for more than I know I'm going to get straight out of the gate with houses specifically that have been in the market over 30 days. But I'm seeing a lot of inventory that's been on the market 60, 90, 100 days where your price is not in line with what market is willing to pay. So it surprises me that more agents are not having that upfront conversation with their sellers as to where price needs to be. Because in this market, if you're on the market more than a couple of weeks, it's evident your price is not the price it should be priced at.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not in contract within 2 weeks, something's amiss.
Something's got to change. Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. So where do you see the market heading? Like, what if you had to predict, where do you think we're going to end up by the end of the year? Do you think things are going to stay really hot all through the summer and we're not going to see any big interest changes for the rest of the year? Where do you think we're going to be?
I think we're going to see 2 rate cuts in the year, possibly, and that's based on what the chief economist of NAR, and he's done a lot of research on that, so I'm in agreement with him.
Yeah.
I think prices are going to go up somewhere. I mean, it all depends on the market, right?
Of course. Yeah.
You in and your house, but prices are going to continue to go up. Probably at least 5%, if not 10%. I'm thinking in the next year.
I would totally agree with you.
Everybody wants to move in the summer, whether they're buying or selling. That's what they want. So it's like trying to cram a lot of activity in a short amount of space at time. So prices will go up. That's just the nature of economics.
And what would you say like your niches in this business? With I mean, because you have so much experience, especially with commercial, where I've only ever done residential. I've never touched commercial, so it's out of my realm. Well, what is your niche? Do you see a lot of folks using 1031 going from triplexes and quads into apartments, or going into industrial? Like, what's your favorite thing to do in this business where you're helping people in a different way?
My favorite thing right now, and has been for a while, is multifamily. So duplex, triplex, fourplex, and then the 5+, which is truly commercial. Residential 1 to 4 is 1 to 4 units. That's still covered under the National Association of Realtors, and we can use their forms.
Sure.
So what I'm seeing is there's crazy money coming out of the Silicon Valley. These folks have been working in the tech companies mostly, and most of them are, I'm going to say, young, 30s, and they know they need to start investing in real estate, or maybe they have 1 or 2 under their belt. And once they start, they get addicted to it, and they see the cash flow stream, and away they go.
That's really exciting. So if somebody wants to move into that realm, they're in a triplex or in a quad, they want to use a 1031, they want to move their money into something a little bit bigger, or they heard you talk about the industrial or the Amazons.
Right.
How do they get a hold of you and make that move?
Oh, the best thing to do is to call me. My phone number is 917-288-7477. Call or text me.
Perfect.
That
Okay,
is-
repeat that one more time so everyone gets it. They can call and
Okay.
text you.
917-288-7477. And what I am seeing a lot of, Jessica, is the DSCR loans.
Uh-huh. Oh,
The
those,
debt
I
service
love
coverage
that.
ratio loans.
You
These
want to
are-
talk real briefly about what that entails?
Absolutely. So a DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio, does not look at the income or the financials of the borrower.
Mm-hmm.
They will look at the credit score, and you do need a decent credit score. Over 700 is most desirable. Sometimes we can do some higher sixes. And so the percentage down is going to be, depending on the lender, 20 to 30%. You can get higher also, but those
Sure.
are like the best rates. And so you don't have to show any financials. So it's a great way to build your portfolio.
Because they're using the income from the property for
That's
their
right.
debt to income ratio, not
That's
their
right.
job at Amazon or wherever they work. They're using the debt service and what's coming in as rental income on the actual property.
Exactly.
I think that's a great underutilized tool that a first time investor could jump in and be able to use and really make something happen on a bigger level.
Yep. Yes, but just to be clear, the buyer does need to bring money to the table. Some people think, oh, I'm going to come at this and have no money. No lender I know is going to do that.
Sure. No, I would understand that. But if you're somebody who
Uncle
maybe
Sam will do that.
Yeah, maybe doesn't have the money, you could go get yourself a partner. Maybe you have the time to run around and find the properties and run all the numbers, and because there's a lot that goes into that. You don't just make an offer and like hope. You have to know what that property is bringing in, what the highest and best use is. You have to have a pro forma based on what it should bring in. You have to have a plan on how you're getting those folks in to your units or your strip mall, whatever it is you're buying. There's a lot of planning that goes into that. So if you're somebody that has the time, the know-how, but not the money, go find yourself a money guy that wants to be a silent partner and bring in the money, or money girl. Find yourself someone with money, and then you could be the person that does all the running around, the legwork, and has the know-how that's working directly with you, and find yourself a silent partner. Those are available. There's money out there for anything that makes sense.
Absolutely. And so part of the reason I've found that I really love commercial is I get to use my mind. It's not an emotional buy like a residential is. It's a strictly business decision. And I have an MBA in finance, and I used to be a corporate executive and ran multi-billion dollars worth of programs, had working for me. So you throw me some financial statements, I'm a dog with a bone.
Oh,
I love it.
I love that. Well, that's very niche. I mean, not everybody does that. There's a million residential realtors. I think you're the only woman that I know in this area that's in commercial. It's a good old boys game.
Yes,
and not to say that there's anything wrong with working with men, but I love that as a woman, you have experience in this field and you are like a tiger and you know how to go out and handle it and get the client what they really need.
Yes, exactly. And I protect them. A lot of times especially the newer investors, they don't understand what they're looking at. The numbers, or or what's been done to the property or what hasn't been done. And so it really pays to have somebody who knows what they're doing, whether it's me or somebody else in a commercial transaction.
No, forget somebody else. Call Olympia. Okay, give us your number one more time.
Okay. 917-288-7477.
Okay, thank you. It was such a pleasure having you on, getting to spend some time with you tonight. And I would encourage anyone that's looking for a commercial property to definitely give Olympia, broker extraordinaire, a phone call or a text. And it's a no obligation kind of thing. You could email them some examples of exactly what you have available or what is available in this market and what the entry level to get in would be. what kind of money you're going to need up front, what
Absolutely.
kind of financials you're going to need to show, what kind of credit score we're going to need to see, so that they can either get prepared or find a partner that is prepared with the things they don't have.
Absolutely. So why settle for a good deal when you can have the best deal?
I love that. That should be your tagline.
That is my new tagline. Yes.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight. I want to encourage all of you to call, especially for commercial. Give Olympia a call.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.